I went back to Taiwan for 2 years and then came back for my master's.
Oh,
And since
wow.
then, I started working here. So,
Very
mm,
cool. Very cool. So you spent like at least around 17, 18 years in Taiwan. That's where you first grew up.
right.
Wow. Very
Mm,
cool. Very cool. What is the earliest memory you have of your childhood in Taiwan, if you can
right.
recall?
So I know the earliest would be so that my mom told me I was like 4 or 5, 4.5. So I was in the university and basically I got lost. So I was with a bunch of like children and my two brothers
Mhm.
were with me. But I think they told me to go back to my parents and to get money or something. And I was so young, I didn't know anything. So I was like, okay, I would go.
Mhm.
So I keep walking. I was like, oh, I couldn't find my parents. And
Yeah.
then I didn't know how to go back. So I got lost. I remember I started crying. And then two college girls just like come to me and then ask me like, oh, are you okay? But I couldn't remember their faces. I just remember their hands. Like both of them like hold me, like
Oh,
one on
yeah.
this side, one on this side. I still remember the hands was like here, and then that's like the first memory I have.
I
Like,
see.
but
Yeah,
yeah, holding their hands, and then I think they brought me to like an office, and then I found my mom or something.
I
So
see. Yeah, the classic getting lost as a kid story. Yeah. I remember getting
yeah,
lost at like Target or stuff, but that sounds a bit more frightening or scary, to be
I
honest.
know.
Um, how would you describe the neighborhood that you grew up in? I know you said it's near Taipei, the capital, but is it like also very urban
Right.
or?
Mm, yeah, it is very urban actually. I grew up in Taoyuan County, which is very close to the capital cities.
Yeah.
So it's very urban, but I actually moved. I was I lived in downtown, like very, very busy, very, very crowded, many cars. So I couldn't really go out. So I remember I always stay at home. But we had like neighbors. So I did like play, like hang out with my neighbors. But I think my dad thought it was too crowded, so we moved when I was second grade. So we moved to another suburbs, kind of suburbs, but Taiwan is so small, so kind of suburbs. So we have like our own house. So there was no one there, only us, like a
Yeah.
house. So yeah, so that's like totally different. So I didn't have any neighbors
Oh,
to hang out with.
I
So
see.
yeah, so that's like my mom start to drive us back to my grandmother's house like every week to hang out with my cousins.
Uh-huh.
So
And
that's
who
like
were like
totally
in the
different.
city still, right?
Still in the city,
Yeah.
so like 20 minutes away from the downtown.
Okay, I
So
see. Did
mm,
you live in like downtown already because your dad or your mom had a job or something? Or
yeah,
okay.
my dad had a company there,
Oh,
so
okay.
he owns a like small company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, very interesting. So you had many friends or you had people to hang out with when you were living in downtown, and then when you moved, you would go to visit them.
Right.
So would you say like when you moved, you didn't have like the new area in the suburbs kind of there weren't many people that you knew around?
No, we were like no neighbors, like not no one.
Yeah,
So my mom will drove us back to my grandmother's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah, so that were like cousins, like
I see.
relatives' kids. Okay.
I see.
Mhm.
Um, are there any particular like beliefs or values that your parents like encouraged or like tried to instill in you?
Yes, I a lot, but I think the most important they was told us to be kind
Yeah,
and also
very
like be
cool.
polite.
Yeah,
Like I remember whenever like we walk into the room and we have to call their like titles, like the aunt or uncle, if they are there, we have to say, oh, John, Uncle John. Like we have to call them. We have to like if we like didn't say anything, we go past by, my mom will get very mad. Like,
yeah,
wait, you didn't see them? Like, come back.
yeah.
Like, call them. Who are they? So, oh yes, Uncle John. So we have to do this like
See,
every
I
single
know,
time.
yeah, I know from my professor that in like Japanese culture, for example, respecting elderly people, for example, is like it's a big priority. So would you say that's the same thing in
Right.
Taiwanese culture, or it's similar at least?
I would say similar, but as I know, I don't think it's that serious compared to Japanese.
Okay.
That's how I know.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That makes sense.
we just need to say hi.
Yeah. Okay. I see. But the titles,
We're
for
not like
example.
not like bowing.
Yeah.
Right, the titles.
The titles
Yes.
are already like that's already more maybe
Oh,
respectful than what we have in the US. So it's already
oh,
yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Um,
Right.
so what kinds of conversations did you have around the dinner table, if you don't mind sharing?
I know. But the thing was, our family didn't eat around the table.
Okay.
So we will like we will like cook in the kitchen and all of us will go and grab our food. Each one of us will have a bowl. So we put like our rice, our like veggies, then we move to living room and then we will eat our meals at the living room. So we didn't really talk and if we talked, we will talk about what's on the news or what's on TV.
Yeah.
That's basically our dinner.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually what I'm doing right now, basically, and what I do every day. So
Oh,
I can
really?
definitely relate to that. Wait, so like in the living room, you'd sit
Mm.
together, but basically do your own thing and not talk super much? Okay,
Mm.
got it. Um,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I'm guessing you spoke, or what language did you speak at home? I'm guessing Chinese.
Right. So my mom said that before kindergarten, we all speak Taiwanese.
Mhm.
So only Taiwanese. But after we went to schools, because the school taught us Mandarin, so we start speaking Mandarin. Right. So we brought in Mandarin to our house, and at our house, we speak two languages. But my mom will like talk in Taiwanese. I will respond in Mandarin. But somehow, like I want to practice, I don't know, Taiwanese. I will like respond in Taiwanese. But more like mainly, it's Mandarin.
I see,
So.
interesting.
Mm.
So wait, is Mandarin taught in like all Taiwanese schools basically? Is that like a big, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yes, it's the language that we have to learn in
Okay.
school.
Yeah.
So,
I can kind of relate. I was in the Netherlands for since I was when I was like 4 maybe. So Dutch was my first
mm.
language. But then we immediately moved to the
Oh,
US and Dutch was immediately kind of useless. So I can understand a lot, but I can barely speak it. So like with my mom, she'll speak to me in Dutch and I'll respond in English. So yeah, I kind of get that. That's interesting.
but can you read Dutch right now? Can you read it?
I can definitely recognize when it is Dutch and I can read some words, but not super well. But yeah.
Oh.
But my sister, who's a bit older than me, had it even worse because she was learning Dutch up until she was like 8. And then she had to start learning English at like 8 when she was already in the US.
Ah,
So like
right.
in her first grade classes, she would just be like very lost. She wouldn't be able to understand anything. So
Ah,
yeah.
right.
Um, so what was your favorite food growing up and who prepared it for you?
My favorite food was congee, like kind of Asian porridge, I would say.
Okay, interesting.
So
Yeah.
like rice, like salty rice with meat and then veggies. So that was always prepared by my mom. I remember when I was young, we had that like every single day,
Yeah.
and we hated it. Like my brothers and I were like,
Ugh.
"Oh, we don't want this anymore."
Oh,
But
you got tired of it,
after
yeah.
that period of time, yes,
Mhm.
after that period of time, like that was the food that I missed the most when I was in US, like even
Yeah,
though now.
yeah,
So I miss that all the time. So it's interesting.
yeah. So has it become a bit of like a comfort food, like nostalgic in a way?
Mhm.
Okay,
Right. Comfort food, I would say.
yeah, that makes sense. I'm a pretty picky eater myself, but that doesn't sound too bad. I think I could manage that.
Really? Kanji?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Kanji.
That's how
I'll
it
research it.
spells. Mm.
Oh, wait, is there a? Oh, I see. I see. Okay,
Yeah, I've
okay, got
heard.
it. Yeah, I'll be sure to
Mm.
look that up. Um, if you don't mind sharing, I know you said your dad had his own company, in kind of the downtown area. But if you don't
Right.
mind sharing, what exactly did he do, and what did your mom do as well? So what did your parents do?
Right. So my dad runs a small company for like electrical and like plumbing repairs, like plus like engineering. So he had a team around like 10 people. Well, back then, like when he was doing very good.
Mhm.
So he's like almost retired. So yeah, so he runs the company, and my mom was just a housewife, so she takes care of all the children.
I see. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
Wait, so how many siblings did you have? I know you said you had brothers and sisters.
Two, right, two older brothers.
Oh, okay. Older. Interesting.
Mm,
Um,
older. Mm.
youngest sibling, I can relate. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
you're young.
yeah. But I only
Yes,
have one
okay.
sister, one older sister, which is very interesting. Um,
Oh.
so what was your relationship with your parents like? Would you say it's pretty close?
Mm. I feel like it's very close, but not emotionally.
Interesting.
I know. So we have to live together. That's like Asian way. So
Yeah.
my entire family still live together. Two of my brothers, they never leave the house. And actually, my oldest brother, I know it's so different from the US. My oldest brother, he got married, and then my sister-in-law moved into our house. So it's like getting bigger and bigger. So we live together. But as I said, I don't think our like emotionally we are close because we live like a housemate or roommates.
Yeah.
Like we have our own room, so like we just go into our rooms, do our own
Yeah.
thing, and then come out and eat, and then go into our rooms and do our own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm,
So you're very close, but you're not necessarily like best friends that you hang out with all the time. Yeah,
right.
I got it.
Mm.
Um, so what kind of education did you get? And can you describe like what the education in Taiwan was like, and like how strict it was?
Oh, right. So I remember before elementary school, it was okay. I was like very chill. I just like go play and all the like everything very chill, very relaxed. But after elementary school, we have like entrance exam. So all the children have to take the entrance exam to get to certain middle school and also high school. And then to university. Well, not middle school, sorry. So we go to our middle school and then we need to have entrance for the high school. So the better high schools are the public high schools. So we started very hard to get into the public high schools. First of all, that was cheaper, like way cheaper. And then plus they have better resources, better teachers. So I remember like during the high school, it was like every day just test. And yeah, we just like study a lot,
Okay, I
nothing
see.
else.
Yeah. So were
Mm.
there entrance exams both like before high school and before college, or was it just before high school?
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, for high school and then also for
Oh,
college.
okay,
So
okay.
so middle school we prepare for high school. That's
Yeah,
like yeah, and I was like 15.
I see. So there was
Mm.
both like a financial and like an education incentive to get into the public high school. So everyone treated middle school like pretty seriously and they tried to study for that.
Serious,
I see. Okay.
right?
So
Mm.
like on a daily basis, would you spend how many hours do you think you would spend studying or like doing work?
Like we went to school from 7 all the way to like 5.
Oh, wow.
7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Plus we like go to crane school. We will say after school.
Yeah.
So after crane school, it always like 9:30 when we got home. So some people still studying until like 1 o'clock. That's like basically everyone is studying like that. Uh,
Did you
mm,
do that? Or were you did you treat
I
like
did.
when you got, I see. Okay. So wait, your after school was basically like, was it just basically like collective review of what you did in school that day? Or like, is it just more studying basically?
No,
Oh,
more study. Like we went to like after school, not for like after school, cram school. It's not from the school. It's not from the
oh,
public
it's
school.
separate. Okay,
It's
okay.
not from astro school, right? It's separate. Like we go to our different cram school, different after school by our own choices. So we have another teachers, kind of like tutoring a small group of students. So we
Yeah.
study differently.
Yeah, I guess that's a lot less common in the US. So I just like wasn't super
Right,
familiar with it, but thank you for explaining it to me.
right.
Um,
Mm.
so what was a normal day like for you at the age of 10 or 15? And how is it different? Like, so were at age 10 and 15, was your normal day very studious and like you'd get home at like 10 and then study even more?
10 to 15 will be like middle school.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, middle school. Right. Okay. Middle school. Yes. That's just like the worst time. Seriously.
Oh, well.
So yes, I feel like my time will stop from like 13 all the way to 17. These are like the worst 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go to school in the morning and we have like morning sections. And actually each of us have a chore in school. Like we have our own job. Like either you need to like sweep the floor or mop the floor or like take out the trash. So each one of us will have our own chore.
Mhm.
So yeah, we did our chore and then we have like morning sections. Normally we like eat breakfast, but if we got like tests, so we have like we need to finish like 2 tests in the morning before the first section, like first class. Yeah, and in the morning we have like 4 classes, and then we have lunch and we have a nap time. We have like 30 minutes nap, and that's like required for everyone. So everyone has to sleep during that time. And then after nap, we have like four more classes. That will be like 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. And we go home or other people go to cram school. Depends on different people. Mm.
So you said you did undergraduate in the US. So
Mm.
going from Taiwanese school to the US, which is, I'm guessing, a little less like you don't have a job or a chore in the US school. So would you say it was a big
Right.
difference in the transition?
Because I didn't study. Wait, did I? Uh, you mean like college? Because
Yeah,
we definitely don't have like chore in
yeah.
college though. Right. So it's like very different, even though the atmosphere or environment is totally different.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
I see. Um, so what were some of your favorite places to be as a child? I'm guessing you kind of mentioned this earlier, like visiting your
Mm.
relatives that were still living in downtown.
Mm.
But apart from that,
Right.
what were some of your favorite activities?
Uh, like ride bikes. I remember like because I have a lot of cousins, like 7 or 8. Wait, yeah, if like plus together it's like a bunch of kids, so we have like each one of us have a bike, so we will like bike to different places. That would be like my favorite activity.
I see. That's pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah. I remember growing up riding bikes, but I was terrible and then I crashed and then I never wanted to ride a bike again. So
Oh, that's so sad.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Um,
sad.
does your family still live in Taiwan?
Right, they all lived in Taiwan right now.
They're all living right now. So
Mm.
your
Mm.
brothers didn't go to the US for college either, or?
No, none of them.
Oh, okay. So you're alone on
Right.
that. So do you still keep in
Mm.
touch with them? I'm guessing then.
Yeah, definitely. We like
Yeah.
text.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
Okay.
will call my mom like once a month. Mm.
Um,
Right.
yeah, that makes sense. Is there a particular song or movie or anything that you find very nostalgic from that time, if you can remember?
Ah, I know, I do. Wait, where's the name? Okay, I remember watching the Emperor's New Groove from
Wow.
2000. I know. So let's
That's a
say one of
plus.
my mom's, well, then that's like my mom's friend. I think an aunt like come to our house and then told my brothers and I like you have to watch this movie.
Mhm.
But my brother and I were not interested at all. We like look at it's like it looks, I don't know, it looks weird and then
Yeah,
boring or
yeah,
like cheesy. I don't know. It's like
yeah.
it's not well made,
I
I would
I
say
get
during
that.
that time. So like no, we don't watch that. We didn't want to watch that. And then the end's like, no, go watch it right now. So we were like not happy with it, and then we watched it, and then it ends up very very good. So my brother and I were like very very surprised. So I was like, okay, great. So I still
Yeah.
remember. Mm.
I actually watched that movie not too long ago, and I thought it was
What, really?
like surprisingly funny. What's the character's name? Kronk, I think, something like that. The guy who made
Right,
like
right,
he was. I thought he was the funniest person of all time for
right.
some reason. I was like
But
16 or
you
something,
just
and I
watched
was like,
recently.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I remember watching that like not too long ago. That was
not too
I
long.
yeah. I totally see it. It's a pretty good movie. It's
Right,
underrated.
right.
Yeah.
But do you think like the drawing was
The
kind of
animation is weird. Yeah, the animation is
right,
weird.
right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, agree,
Um,
agree.
yeah. To take a more, I guess, darker turn, can you describe a particularly worrisome or challenging experience from your childhood? I know you said like 13 to 17, very studious, very, like every single day.
Right.
Was that the biggest challenge of your childhood?
Because I thought about childhood, because everyone went through that period, so I don't
Yeah.
think that is like more like big challenges. But the biggest challenges, like before that, was like in my elementary school, we had a Taiwanese speech competition. It's like in Taiwanese. So I remember I was like the only one or two students can speak Taiwanese during that time. So I like had to go and then have this speech competition. So I actually won. I won like the first prize for my school, but that's like the worst thing. And then, so I have to represent my school to have another competitions with the whole entire Taiwan or whatever, like county. So that was like the worst because I have to memorize like 10 speeches. Seriously, like a lot of speeches. And in Taiwanese, during that time, I know Taiwanese, but not that, not like Mandarin anymore. It's like second language.
Yeah.
So I have to memorize like 10 speeches because they have to like pick one of it and I have to like just say it. So that was like sixth grade. And I remember that was like I have like headache all the time and I didn't tell anyone. I was like, oh, I didn't want to do this, but I have to. So every day I was like memorize all the speeches and just go. So that's like first time I kind of experienced like stress. I
Mhm.
feel like
I
like
see.
in elementary school,
Yeah.
right? It's like
I,
fun.
I I kind of have a slightly similar experience, I guess. I accidentally won the class spelling bee once, and then I was supposed to
Oh,
like represent my school, and I did not show up. I was too scared. So yeah,
you did not.
I bailed out. It was kind of terrible, but
You
yeah,
did not show up.
I did not show up. My
Okay.
teacher was like so
I
proud. She had so much hope for me,
oh,
and I folded under the stress. It was not great, but yeah.
I would
Um,
just cry. I remember I cry and then like still memorize. I cry, I still
yeah,
memorize. I
yeah.
have to go.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. I think memorizing multiple speeches in a not your best language is way more difficult though. So let's mix these up. So wait, did other people in your childhood like did other kids learn Taiwanese first, or was it mostly Mandarin in their households as well?
not all the family know how to speak Taiwanese. It
Okay,
depends on their parents.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Um,
Like go back to history because
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, the Chinese come to Taiwan and stuff. So
yeah. Got it.
mm.
So when you were growing up, what kind of profession did you like? What kind of job were you dreaming of, basically?
Right. I thought I would be a piano teacher, but I did not.
Oh, I see. Did you play the piano growing up?
Yeah, I did. But until like middle school, high school, like we have to study a lot. So that's the time that I quit. Like I couldn't do that. I have to study. Like so that's when I
Okay.
stopped.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
school got in the way of it. Yeah. Makes sense.
Right.
Did your parents try and like influence what career you had, or did they kind of like let you decide for yourself?
Mm, my parents, yeah, they kind of let me decide because I'm okay. The thing is, I study very hard, but I'm not a good student. Like my grades are not like high,
Oh.
even though I study very hard. So my mom and my dad didn't really have like high expectation on me, I guess.
Mhm.
So like, okay, go do what you want.
Yeah. I'm sure you're being quite harsh on yourself though, if you traveled across continents to go to college. But yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
kind of to finalize a little bit, when you're looking back on your childhood, what kinds of feelings or words come to mind when you think of it? Like, what do you associate with your childhood?
Like childhood, like how do you describe? 'Cause I feel like
Like,
my childhood has separate into two.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like before middle school and after middle school.
yeah,
It's like two different worlds.
yeah. You can choose
Um,
whatever works for you, like before middle school, if that's what you call childhood.
I will always say like the best, like the good part though, like before elementary school, it was like chill, and then all I can remember, I was like playing in the playgrounds with friends in school, like dodgeballs. We just have like so much fun, like in elementary school, just
Yeah.
play, nothing else. So that was like the best time. Mm.
I definitely relate to that. If you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would
Mm.
it be?
Right. Okay. I would tell her that education is important, but not everything.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like spend more time with your friends and family. Because I had so many memories that I have to study, so I say no to many people, like
yeah,
friends or like family trip. I even like give up a lot of like family trips. I said, oh, you guys go, I can stay at home by myself, I can study by myself. So that's like the time that I regretted the most. So
yeah.
yeah, I would say that too. Yeah,
Okay.
just go spend time with family and friends. That's not the most important thing in your life, like education.
I
Like
think that's a
find something
very,
that you really
yeah,
like.
yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. So like looking back on it, if you could do it again, would you change uh like how much time you spent
wow.
on studying?
Definitely.
That's fair. That's fair. Just out of curiosity, wait, you said you did you
Mm,
finish undergraduate school already?
I did. I finished in Chicago.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy living in the US basically?
Yes, basically, especially the education, because I have never tasted the joy of learning. Like when I was in Taiwan,
Mhm.
I feel like I studied all the things that I didn't like. Like I didn't know why I'm studying. But after I come to the States, I know why I'm studying. Um, and I can like go into the professor's office and ask them questions. And that was like the first time I taste, oh, what is learning all about? And then it's like have a joy of learning what I like. I think the education part is like the best.